Hello and welcome to my first theory post. Now this had been on my mind for some time now, but the Irene Dimension and the library. Dr. Wolf spent a good chunk of his life in look and act similar, don't they? Granted, the Irene Dimension looks more like a temple, but the feeling I got from both places was the same, mysterious place that holds secrets we may never find. Warning. Incoming spoilers for both Minecraft Diaries Seasons 1 and 2 and Memories of the Equestrian Wolf. I suggest watching both series first or you will have no idea what I'm talking about. We learn in the episode The Irene Dimension that 1 minute in the Irene Dimension means 1 year in the world, so theoretically one could stay for 1,000 minutes in the Irene Dimension and go back to the world to learn 1,000 years had passed since they went to the Irene Dimension. Later, Rafe Moi and the friends she took to the Irene Dimension get back only to find that 15 years had passed since they left, and yet none of those from the Irene Dimension never aged a single day since they left. Now, if you remember from Memories of the Equestrian Wolf Chapter 2, Dr. Wolf never aged nor needed food, drink, or sleep while in the library, and it seemed in that place that time never changed anything, very much like the Irene Dimension, don't you think? But what could this mean? Remember that Dr. Wolf was made bipedal in the library with a spell? I'll get back to that, and it'll be a big part of my theory once I get back to it, trust me. Warning, major spoilers for Minecraft Diaries Season 2 coming up now. I recommend watching at least episode 100 in order to understand what I am talking about. In Minecraft Diaries Season 2 we learn the divine warriors were not deities but ordinary people who came upon relics that granted them immortality and special abilities, and it is heavily implied that these were not the first people the relics choose to defend the world, judging from what Hyria told the group. From what little we know of that point in Dr. Wolf's life, we know his master casted a spell on him and made him bipedal, and also that Dr. Wolf didn't immediately age to a skeleton once he left the library. But who can tell in what era did he leave the library? We can answer this via Chapter 3's references to modern technology, so there is only one of the 6 eras Dr. Wolf could be in, the Sunlight Era. But was Dr. Wolf made immortal by the same spell that made him bipedal? If so, that draws a parallel between the spell and the relics of the divine warriors. Now, as much as it pains me to leave out a lot of detail, I have to for the sake of this post and in case others want to put their 2 cents into this theory. For my theory to be explained in great detail, I suggest you check out a YouTuber named Raven the Singing Nerd and her theories on Minecraft Diaries if you do not wish to sit through 200 episodes of content. But to put it bluntly, my theory, Dr. Wolf has Kulzak's relic inside him and he is a divine warrior. Now, before you say that's crazy talk, there is no way he could have Kulzak's relic inside him. As of yet we know nothing of Kulzak aside the fact he is male. Perhaps the reason we know nothing about him is because he was a hermit and kept to himself when he wasn't traveling. We also know little to nothing of Dr. Wolf's master besides the fact he was a unicorn who knew advanced magic and is probably dead. I decided to create a timeline of events starting with Kulzak's death after the battle against the Shadow Lord to the present-day Equestria. Kulzak dies sometime after the battle against the Shadow Lord, otherwise known as Shad, in one final act to hurt Irene for betraying him, seals Kulzak's soul and relic in another world, Exiles. Kulzak's soul wanders for a while until it finds a suitable vessel, a unicorn stallion. Armed with the knowledge that in his new body he would never be able to wield his relic, he set about finding his apprentice. Meanwhile, in a small cave a litter of 2 pups is born. Sadly, the snowy weather is one that they couldn't survive without help. The father and mother starved to death by bringing only food for their pups, giving up their lives for a chance their pups might live. The eldest of the 2 pups was taken away by another pack of wolves, leaving the youngest to his fate. But Irene had different plans for the pup as she appeared in the reborn Kulzak's dreams and led him to the cave. Kulzak knew what he had to do, save the pup and train him to take up his legacy. So he took the young pup home, naming him Esmond II after his friend. He began to use spells to increase Esmond II's intelligence. The spells hurt the young pup, but no amount of numbing spells would ease the pain the spells brought. He received a breakthrough when Kulzak asked Esmond II, "Do you want to know what your destiny is?" Esmond II nodded his head. Kulzak asked the question again and again. Esmond II nodded. Kulzak knew Irene had found this pup for a reason. One day he was visited by Enki. After a heartfelt reunion, Kulzak showed Enki the puppy that was to become the new wielder of his relic. Enki denied that the puppy would be a suitable replacement and insisted he wield the relic himself and return. Kulzak explained he couldn't wield the relic and that Irene led him to the puppy, so he must be the relic's chosen wielder, but Enki didn't believe Kulzak one bit. After the screaming match, the two parted ways for good. Irene then showed Kulzak a vision of the library and of the relic. Kulzak led his young wolf apprentice to said library, found the relic and used a spell to place it in the young wolf. Kulzak then searched for a spell to open a portal to the Irene Dimension so he could place the wolf in Irene's care, but just as he found it, Shadow Knights appeared and attacked. Kulzak fought them with all his strength, but he was fatally wounded in the ambush. He crawled back, or he told his apprentice to stay, and died seeing his legacy climb out a window, the young wolf never knowing that he had a relic within him this whole time. The young pup was now protected by Irene's friend Hyria, who blessed the wolf upon his journey until he reached Equestria. From there the young puppy finds his place as the well-known therapist Dr. Wolf and marries a beautiful wolf female. Wait a second. We just established that the relic of Kulzak made Dr. Wolf bipedal, so where does Mrs. Wolf fit into this? Well, could have something to do with Minfia, but I already rambled on for a long time.